Let's turn to other international affairs now. The smoke has been seen rising over Gaza in the last few hours. Now, we're yet to confirm the exact cause, but the state of Qatar says there have been minimal breaches to the truce that have not threatened the overall agreement.
Yes, it's after the truce between Israel and Palestine was extended by 48 hours to allow for more hostages to be released.
Overnight, the terror group Hamas released 8 children, an 18-year-old woman and 2 mothers. Now, Israel has accused Hamas of blocking the release of its youngest hostage, the 10-month-old baby that was taken on the 8th of November.
Now, dealing directly with the bereaved, the hostages and their families, is Israeli therapist Niva Ben Zion. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. A very distressing time for the people of Israel, not least for the hostages themselves, but also for their families. Can you tell us a little bit about what these families will have been going through and the hostages?
We have no clue with regards to the hostages because we are a forum that was established by the families and for the families just after the beginning of the war. So we were dealing only with the families themselves. It means that we are supporting them in every means that we know and have available for us. So with regards to the hostages, when they are returned to Israel, they are taken care of, or well taken care of, by the Israeli authorities, which, various means of treatments and support. So we are mainly for the families. And I think that it's very important to understand that though small children has been released with their mothers, there are many people still held hostages or captive in Gaza. And I know that in some ways, the fact that the small children and the teenagers were released and the mothers really put a screen on the actual situation, which is really difficult because some of the families have the loved one returned. Some of them has still next of kins in Gaza. So on the same hand, you'll have people that are joyful that part of the families are back, but very anxious and panicking with regards to the rest of the family, which are not. And needless to say that those who their loved ones are not yet released are really in a somewhat stressful situation.
It's hard to know precisely what is going on in Gaza, in those tunnels, or indeed in places above ground. Is it your understanding that different hostages are being held in different situations, and some may be in more squalid or awful conditions than others?
I have no direct knowledge of the circumstances or the way that they're being held. There are some rumors, but nothing is substantial. So I wouldn't like to go into this. But we should really guesstimate the fact that since they are being held by various groups and types of people, so the circumstances of their captivity are, they may vary and be in different ways. I have no knowledge of that. Sorry.
That's absolutely okay. I think we'd just like to know a little bit more from you about how the families deal with this kind of separation on a psychological level. For us sitting here, it's so hard to imagine what it would be like to know that your family member, in some cases your very young child, is being held by a terror organisation in what conditions you don't know, we don't know, and you have no idea of when you're going to see them again. Truly a horrifying position to be in, and very difficult psychologically.
Yeah, it is. It is. So the main thing is not knowing, isn't it? It's like the unknown thing, which is very intimidating and frightening and stressful. So what they are in the state they are, most of them is fight mode. They're doing everything in their power to bring back their loved ones. And most of them are very active. They go from one place to another, speak with people. They travel with delegation to foreign countries in order to convince or to find a lead of someone that may help, and to stay, above the water level in a way. So um, um, they are moving, or their emotional state is fluctuated from being very hopeful and having their eye on the target, which is um, getting their loved one released, versus despair, panic. So all those feelings are, they are within this verses of state, which is very stressful. And what really holds them, I think, together is the hope and the belief. And this is something that they are struggling to gain every now and then, and when they lose it, this is where we are, holding it for them, and holding them, or holding the hope, and reminding them of their strength, reminding them of their capabilities, of their doing, of this, the little control that they have on their lives. As you understand perfectly well, by having your family held hostage there, um, this really reminds you how little control you do have in your life. So
And
that
holding that hope being so very important. Well, Niva Ben Zion, thank you so much for talking to us. Of course, you have been talking with some of those families who've lost loved ones, some who have loved ones missing, and we wish you all the best with your continued work with those families.